Hello and welcome to MCFC 9320 PUBcast. Good evening, Anne-Marie. Good evening,
Andy.
Paddy. Stan's not joining us tonight. Stan's gone back to supporting Chelsea because we're that crap, apparently. Good evening, guys in the chat. Listen, as always, we're gonna always keep it balanced. That's what we pride ourselves on for it. I want to start off, Anne-Marie. And by the way, with me and Anne-Marie, everyone in the chat, me and Anne-Marie have not spoke about this. We're just about to speak about it now. We don't prep the show, as you probably can tell. The booing, Anne-Marie, it was undoubtedly, in my mind, against the team. Forget the officials, because normally when you boo the officials, it's when the officials, at the end of the match, go together and they're walking off. They were, in my opinion, they was booing the players.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anne-Marie. I just don't understand it. Yes, listen, the game itself, it felt like it was in second gear up until the 75th minute. Then it just seemed too comfortable. And then invariably and games like that, you seem to get punished, and we was hanging on for a point in the end.
Yeah, for me, it comes down to game and man management. Man management would tell you that Alvarez needed to come off after 70 minutes because he could barely run, at which point he should have brought Stones on to shore things up a bit. And he didn't do that. He didn't bring Stones on until I'm not even sure what point he came on at, whether it was after the penalty or.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was just a joke. They were making changes left, right, and centre, and we didn't. And when we hear Pep going on about the number of games and different things, we have to question him as to why he's not made any changes sooner.
Why did you giggle then?
Stan. He looks like he's just woke up. So the booing at the end of the game, I think it was out of frustration because that game should have been out of sight. We had some great chances. We seem to be taking a lot more shots on from outside the area. So I think there was a lot of frustration in the stadium at the end of that game yesterday. I didn't boo myself, but I totally accept why people did.
No, and I was just going to say, and I think you've hit a pertinent point there, Anne-Marie. It's not something I do. It's not something I've ever done. But people pay the money. They're entitled to boo or whatever they want, stamp their feet. The culture, and it's not all going to be about the fans as well. So, something. Although the game wasn't a bit, I thought there was some great performances yesterday. And I think some of them great performances as well, Paddy, will be forgotten about because of the result. But I'm sick of seeing people, not just at City, by the way, camera phones. I watched the United Liverpool match before, and all you could see behind the goal was cameras, and I'm sure one was playing a Nintendo Wii as well because they was doing all sorts. Where did he? Where did he stop?
What was the deal with everyone putting the lights on the phone?
They must have thought it was a Westlife concert.
They must have done. They obviously had nothing better to do.
It's just, where do you stand on all this, Paddy?
I don't know what's the ticket. If you give out your dinosaur, the things are changed now. I suppose there's a generation attached to phones. It's like a third hand, and when they're separated from the phone, they can't cope. Look, as you say, they pay their money. If they want to watch match, videotape match, or take photographs of the match, good luck to them. But it's just not what we're used to, And just because we're not, it doesn't make I just think generational thing, all got social media. I'm here. Look, I'm having a time in my life, and I don't know. What do you do? Do you say to the person, put your phone away, or you've no?
No, unfortunately,
you know, kind of authority to say that. And then,
you're not going
selfie sticks.
to stop it, are you?
No.
You're not going to stop it, but it's just bizarre to me. Let's. I really want to get. I know we do every week, but I really want to get the guys in the chat, really involved tonight. Good evening, Michael, mate. Hope you're well, buddy. Evening all. Well, after being out of the title race last night, Rags have done us a favour, but we need to shake ourselves very quick. Absolutely, mate. And the way I see with that, mate, is although I'm not too fussed about this Club World Monopoly competition, what we've gone for now, I'm not too fussed. However, what I will say is, I think it's come at the right time. I've said this a couple of weeks ago, where the heat is on us a little bit. I'm not just going to keep making excuses over injuries and out of form, because to be fair, every team has it. I just think as a club and a bunch of players now, it's come at the right time just to get a bit of sun on our backs, get away from it all, and then when we come back, hopefully we'll be there or thereabouts in January. De Bruyne,
10 or 12 points behind.
Listen, if much, whatever it is, mate, we'll have them games to catch it up. If we're up to the job, we've got to stop relying on, but we're a second half of the season team, because that'll run out. That will run out sooner or later. We've got to be doing it now. But I've just seen something from Daniel. And Daniel's right. We've won just one of our last 6 and are only 5 points off the top. We need to calm down. We can only beat ourselves. And that is, in a nutshell, forget about, games in hand and stuff like that. We've got, first and foremost, we've got to do what we know we can do ourselves.
But we're not doing
having watched those two this afternoon, there's nothing to be scared about.
And that's it. We've got absolutely nothing to be scared about. I just want to, I'm just looking at some of the comments. What do you think? What do you think, Stan?
First of all, sorry, it was a bit late. I'm not well, and there was a bit of messing around.
You don't look well, mate. There.
Well, I think Anne-Marie summed it up. I don't know whether I look like the overweight brother of In My Fun Boy 3 or what. It's not. It's
always good to have you, mate. You know that. So
I've only been on here 5 minutes, and there's been about 8 different things that have going wrong. Aren't that bad? Things we can improve on.
To be fair, the first few comments, mate, have all been grounded, really.
No, but what I'm saying is, is it a generational things people are doing after that? We're not that far off the top. We let it go yesterday. I still don't understand why. I mean, I know Paddy tried to explain it, why that second goal we scored from the free kick. Why was that disallowed?
Don't know. I asked the same question because apparently Rodri was offside. Rodri, as far as I can remember,
Rodri didn't touch the ball.
Absolutely, and he was actually on this side of the keeper.
Yeah. Since when there's 45 degrees away from, the keeper's vision? What's the keeper? If a free kick's there, does the keeper go like that to make sure he's going to catch it? But there's another one.
I'm sorry.
Should have been 2-0 up.
Go on, boys. Have it out, because Paddy doesn't agree there. Go on.
No, I'm telling you, if they scored against us like that, I'd be raging. Rodri clearly interfered with play.
Ball. He never got the ball. And the angle he was coming in at.
He made an attempt for it, Stan.
He didn't make an attempt, he dropped.
Unless that keeper had a swivel-eyed goon, he didn't see that. So he's not interfering with play at all. And the ball's gone straight in the back of the net. It's not as though it's hit Redbury on the head and gone in, or hit him, on the chest and gone in. he wasn't offside anyway. So, but anyway, the upshot is there's another one where, you know, people say, oh, well, it doesn't matter, we should come back and do that. But do you think Palace would have been quite happy to go in at 2-0 down?
I'd say, you know, something, and I was having this debate last night with a few Blues. I don't think we played bad up until the 75th minute. We was totally in control. I thought Foden was very, very good. I thought Rico was very good. Bernardo's wasted on the wing, you know, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah. Alvarez quite clearly needs a rest. He's not a bad player, Alvarez. He just needs a rest. But maybe yesterday, if Haaland was fit, you would have seen Alvarez get a well-deserved rest. But at the moment, everything is against us. Every man and his dog. But I'll tell you something about the booing yesterday as well, what I was disappointed about. And I think I might have said this on one of them things what I ate a Twitter space last night, apparently, that we all point the finger at overseas fans for all this spoiltness and stuff like that. Yesterday at the Etihad at Anne-Marie, we saw hardcore City fans who've been going for donkey's years booing the team as well, which for me is more disappointing than anything.
Well, I look, I'm going to be honest, Andy. There was booing in the stadium. I did hear it, but I have to say, where I was, there wasn't any. Now, whether it is a generational thing or hardcore Blues booing the team, I can't say, because I don't know who was actually booing. But I just think that because of the way we've played the last few weeks, and because we know we're capable of so much better, that I just think there's a level of frustration within the supporters, and that I think yesterday it got the better of us because we were cruising in that game.
Absolutely.
And they had done, from the very beginning of the game, they'd done nothing but time waste. And then we make a couple of mistakes. I mean, from what I still haven't watched any highlights, but from what I can gather, the penalty was harsh.
Don't know. It was you know, something, and that is a fair point, Anne-Marie, because everybody around me was saying it wasn't a penalty. It wasn't a penalty.
It looked more like a dive from where I was.
No, however, all the ones what was saying it at the side of me were on the other side of the stadium. So I've not seen it. I don't want to see it. But for me, the point is, regardless whether it was a penalty or not, it was given. They scored. We drew. We let ourselves go a little bit. So I think now, listen, I'm not one to tell Pep what to do. You know, he's or anyone, but I think we've got to get back to basics a little bit, because at the minute it's quite clear Gvardiol is not a left back. You know, so
yeah, but you see, I know you see, you've gone straight to that point, and yet Gvardiol wasn't at fault for any of the goals yesterday.
No, he wasn't.
Let's go back to who should be showing and leading the way. Our captain, Kyle Walker.
I'll tell you something. I'm not joking.
Yesterday.
I'd bench him for what he did yesterday. I'd bench Walker for what he did yesterday.
Can I say something there, Anne-Marie?
Yeah.
Go on, sorry, Paddy. I hadn't realised. There's two things about this Mid-Sabre fella. He dived in the box when they thought they had a penalty about 10 minutes earlier, right? And if you listen back, and I heard it because obviously I watch it on telly, as I wasn't in the country yesterday. And the commentator thought, "Ooh, he's going to book him," and then he actually said, "Oh, I thought the ref was giving there for him diving."
Mm.
Now, when you look at
I thought it was, to be honest, from where
one moment, Anne-Marie, while I remember. When you look at it, it was a penalty. There's no doubt about that. However, when Foden's had about 10 kicks on his shins like that and nothing's happened, why would he suddenly expect to think that that's not okay? He's going to think, well, it's okay. I can kick people in the shins because it's been happening to me all day. And he's not giving them. And he's not giving them today, because that's what refs do. Some refs will give a kick on the shin, some won't. And you can establish that in the first 20 minutes, whether a referee is going to give things or not. Once you know what they can give and what they don't give, that's how the game's going to play out.
I know,
basically,
but yet again,
letting the game flow and letting the game.
When it comes to consistency, yesterday, from where I sat, it looked a dive for the penalty. And I will stand corrected if I ever see the highlights. But
it did look like a dive from an angle. Yeah, it did look like it at an angle. It did.
Yesterday, in the first few minutes, one of the very few times in the first half, Palace made it into our half. The player kicked the ball away.
Yes, early doors.
Early doors. And the referee did absolutely nothing. And I guarantee if we'd have done that, we'd have had a player booked for it.
They were time wasting from the fifth minute. From the fifth minute, they were time wasting.
There was no reason. Absolutely nothing.
It was time
They
wasting.
should have had 6 yellow cards. 6 yellow cards they should have had by the first half for time wasting, dicking around and kicking the ball away. And they didn't get any of that. If we'd have won that game 3-1, nobody would have complained. And I think that would have been a better reflection of the game. Unfortunately, you don't always get it.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, Andy. Pep knows all this and knows that. But like at the end of the day, we're entitled to our opinion as well. And I'm telling you that team was unbalanced.
And listen, and that brings me back to my point, Anne-Marie, about nothing. I support every single player what pulls that shirt on, as you know. However, you can see fools like us. We can see Gavadio it doesn't balance the team with him being over there. It doesn't. We don't look balanced. I much prefer, and I'm sure there's a lot of there, prefer Aki there. For me, Aki is our safety blanket on the left. He reads the game better. He doesn't tear ass up the pitch as much. It works better with Grealish. By the way, I thought Grealish had a very, very good game as a number 10 yesterday. But like I said earlier, these points will get overlooked because of the result. Now, obviously, I was a little bit annoyed yesterday, because of the way we just folded and stuff like that. But on reflection, I'm going to take some of them performances back, because I thought Jack was very good. I thought Foden was very good yesterday. Let's try and listen. I'm not a happy clapper. People who know me, they know I'm not a happy clapper. But we've got to have sensible balance here, because you've
got to have sensible balance, Andy. But at the same time, when you're sat watching the game and you're watching Bernardo go down the right wing time and time again, and never, I think he crossed the ball once in the entire game. If he had the ball there, even if he took it to the touchline, he was constantly looking to pass back, constantly. So to me, it begs the question, why are we playing him out on the right-hand side? It doesn't suit his play. And if I'm honest, I don't think I wouldn't have played Rico yesterday.
I thought it was okay, Rico.
I just thought in the first half, especially, he didn't do anything. I think we'd have been far better with Kovacic on the pitch, or even Nunes.
It's easy to say after the thing, but look at Julie's comment there. Julie's put, we are playing poorly. The season is long, though. Planning goes into it. I can understand Pep not making subs or making late subs. We have to save players. Man management, we don't know what's going on. And to be fair, that's what Julie's saying sums up. We don't know what's going on. There might have been a couple of niggles somewhere, or Pep knows what's going on. I'm not saying Pep he walks on water.
No, but he wasn't happy yesterday with our game management. Well, who's that down to?
The players.
Yeah, exactly.
The players have not executed the plan.
So why didn't we make the changes to get players on that would execute the plan?
Because at 2-0 up, with 20 minutes to go, you should be able to, with the players we've got, to see out the game.
But Stan, even when we went to 2-1, you knew what was coming. You knew that for the whole game they'd wasted time. Soon as they got back to 2-1, you knew that wasn't going to happen because they knew we were there for the taking. So at that point,
that's guesswork. Yeah, but that's just guesswork. That at that moment, at that time, he'd have gone with who he wants. It is.
You don't need to be a
revisionism.
genius to know that once they pulled a goal back, they were going to come at us fully. So at that point, you bring Stones on.
Right. So in my opinion, Stan, in my opinion, mate, when I've been
Stones was coming on.
Listen, in my opinion,
Stones didn't come on until the 95th minute.
He was coming on at 2-1, but once, like you say, if you've gone, if it's 2-0 and you've gone 2-1, and you think to yourself at the time, not now, not after the match, you'll think, right, they're going to come at us. Okay, they come at us. There's going to be spaces, and that's where we need to start working into those spaces and then pushing back
You missed the point I made at the start, Stan. My point was, at 70 minutes, you could tell Alvarez couldn't run. So even if we had a chance to make a break at 2-1, we didn't have the player to pass the ball, make the space. So that's why we needed to make the change when we went to 2-1.
I will say one thing, though. I've been in situations where I've either been playing in a match or been coaching a match where you're cruising like that, you get a goal back, and it doesn't matter what changes you make, it's hard to go from that level to sort of, because you've been cruising for so long, say 75 minutes, it's then hard to start like up your game for how you've been playing, because the tempo has been the same all the time. It's difficult. It's not an excuse. It is difficult.
That's why they say, isn't it? The momentum swing. That's what momentum swing is, isn't it? That happens. It's very, very hard. But Julie was right there. That's another thing. I thought Julie was spot on, and we've been saying this for a long time. I reckon he is in the middle of a fiddling around process. But I really do. Because there's always a little spell in the season where we get a little run of unexpected results.
Yep.
At least we've got a... You were right before, Andy, though, that the heat will be on us in Saudi. It'll be boiling hot. So at least they hope one or two of them come back with a bit of a tan and a bit of a rest.
For me, it's come at the right time to get away from all.
It has. And last year, when we had a break, when we had a mid-season break, we'd lost at home to Brentford. And I tell you what, the world collapsed that night.
But we can't rely on it, Stan. We can't rely on that. We'll just up our game in the second half of the season.
I've not said we have, but what we're saying is that we're in this position every year for the last 5-6 years where nothing's going to happen. It's not nothing's going to happen. We've lost the game. We've had a run. Things aren't working. We're not happy. That run in the second half of the season, yeah, that will end one time. But at the moment, what other than that run will come to an end? What are we doing that much different? We knew there's going to be a dip. There's bound to be. When you lose people of Gundogan and Mahrez and what have you, there's going to be a dip. There's absolutely no way of it.
I'm not joking here. I think there's been certain situations this season where we've missed Mahrez.
There has been, and this is one of the reasons why Walker's suddenly gone mental. He's not got that guy in front of him that can tell him to stop or come or go. And we said this last week, that right wing spot hasn't been nailed down properly. It was nailed down properly last year, but at the moment it hasn't, and Walker's affected by it.
I think
will we change it? I mean,
there's no excuse for running back. Like Walker, we had 3-on-2, and Walker stopped, and it became 2-on-2, and then your man crossed the ball in, and either they were going to score or Aki was going to put it in the backyard.
How many times? That's a fair point. But how many times has he been too far up the pitch and he can't get back?
Well, that's the other thing. I don't know why he goes up the pitch, because he can't cross the ball. He runs into the flag and he passes back.
But okay, let me ask you a question. Well, I want to ask you two questions here. The first one is, who picks Walker? Pep. If Pep wasn't happy with the way Walker plays, Pep wouldn't pick him because he's got, and this brings me on to the second part of the question, what Daniel said there. Our best defence is Aki, Diaz, Stones, Akanji. Can you see beyond that? Do you agree with that?
Yeah. No.
I'd rather have Stones in the middle with Rodri. And hang on a minute. He's got Aki on the left, hasn't he? Diaz is on the left. Yeah. That's all right.
Yep.
No, you put Stones in the middle with Rodri.
So what do you do? Kenji Walker.
But see, that's the part I don't get.
You could put
Stones in the middle with Rodri, when we have Matteo and Nunes and Phillips sitting on the bench. Why buy them?
Okay,
John Stones is not a...
We can't play 16, can we? So we're always going to have 3 or 4.
I'm glad Paddy said that because that was going to be my point. John Stones. I agree, Paddy. John Stones is a centre back. Diaz plays better, and I say it all the time. Diaz plays better on the left side of the centre backs. I would have Stones on the right side of him, and that's the whole point. Let's get back to basics. Everything's been overcomplicated for one reason or another at the minute. Everything is being overcomplicated. Oh, we can play an inverted this. We can do that. We can push Stones into midfield. Paddy's right. We've got Nunes. We've got Kovacic. We've got Calvin. We know Calvin's going to be going. But we've got specialised players for specialised positions. What, for some reason, we're not using them. Like Doku is predominantly a right winger. I know he's injured at the minute. We're not playing him on the right. We're overcomplicating it by dropping Grealish. Grealish is getting loads of stick for some unknown reason. That's not Grealish's fault if he's in and out. But to get the best out of players, play them in the bloody proper specialised positions, and that's the whole point of what I'm saying about let's get back to basics.
I don't think there's one team in that Premiership plays one defensive midfielder like we do with Rodri. Matteo should be in beside Rodri every game. Every game. Not Rico Lewis. Good and all as Rico Lewis is, he does not belong in the middle of that park.
Yeah. Thank you for reminding me, Beyond Belief. That was the other point I was going to make about that penalty. What Beyond Belief has said, VAR was all over our 3 goals. But absent for the foul and the build up to the penalty, how predictable it was. Matei to pull back Bernardo, pulling back like that has always been a foul, or it has been in every game we've played up till now. But that's still makes me laugh. Wolves again moaning. We're still the only team in the league that have had the rough end of decisions against Wolves.
Yeah, with
it's quite incredible.
With the finger, you should have got two yellows. Daniel's put, is Walker the captain or is it KDB? I asked FG on the stream and he said it's KDB. From what I'm led to believe, there's 5 captains, but the main one is KDB. So once KDB's back, I should imagine we'll play different as well. I'll tell you what it was crying out for as well yesterday, Anne-Marie. We had the ball in the centre of midfield, but we kept passing it to the touchline all the time. Instead, like we used to get a Sani who used to run diagonally.
Yeah.
We didn't have anyone running diagonally to pass that ball.
But then you say that, Andy, but from where I was watching it, we'd get the ball in the centre of midfield and then you'd see, particularly in the first half, Lewis would make a run and Jack made runs and the midfield weren't looking. Your Rodris or whoever, they weren't looking up. So they were playing an easier pass rather than playing a ball over the top to Lewis or Grealish, who'd both made great runs.
I think the other thing that doesn't get mentioned enough is
you and me, Jack. You and me both, mate.
The other thing that doesn't get mentioned is the fact that after 20 minutes, well, for the whole first half up to the hour really, there was 10 outfield players, no matter where the ball was, between the ball and the Palace goal line. very, very, very difficult to get the ball into the middle there. So you're going to have to go around the outside. They had 4 players who never went past the width of the 18-yard box. So they were unbelievably compact in the middle. There was very little space between them. Then there was nothing in the channel to go across to work in, because then there was 6 players sat there. Without a shadow of a doubt, that was the most boring, unimaginative, wasted time of a football team I've seen at City in about.
I know, but then you have to give them credit, because they got
a point out
of it, task and they stuck
Yeah, they
to
might
it.
have got a point out of it, but I tell you what, if that had been refereed properly, they wouldn't have got a point
No,
out
but he's
of
a
it.
wily old fox, isn't he?
No, he's not. He's an idiot. He's no better than Waistcoat Man. He was Waistcoat Man for the 80s. He didn't do anything. There was no imagination. He actually said it. He actually came out with it after match of the day and said, "Oh, well, you've got to come here, haven't you? And you can't do anything. You've just got to sit behind the ball." No, have a little bit of imagination like Brentford did last year. They won last year because they had a go at us. You only got a draw this year because you thought, I can't really trust them, can I, for 90 minutes? I've got to defend for 75. You know, honest to God, this is why no one pays any attention to it. I've gone into a John Baker rant here. I told you I wasn't well.
Yeah, but you're right, Sam.
You are right.
No, he thinks he'll have gone on to that. Well, I've got a point, haven't I? Yeah, but you've learned nothing. You've learned absolutely nothing. And not every single player there will be like, "Oh, we've done all right here today." I'm not having that. That's not football. That's just boring the arse off people.
It's not football, but for what they need to achieve for the season, that's a massive point for them.
Well, shame for the fans.
Pardo Oaks has put here, Anne-Marie, that the game changed once Edison had one of his red mist moments and sort of Crystal Palace centre forward down. This gave Palace confidence. All us, because obviously we sit there, we was like, was that a red? You know, I don't know whether it's because the Palace play was a bit wider.
He was going away from goal.
Yeah. If he'd have given a red, I tell you what, that would have been a totally different post-match from Pep. I think Pep's he don't want to get a ban, does he? You know, if he says anything bad.
Why should he get a ban? Arteta didn't get a ban for what he said.
No, but it's 2 different things, and it. Klopp was having a moan and a whinge and a cry today. You know, it's where they are.
Did you see?
They're doing well, they're shutting people up.
Did you see Dalot's red card as well this afternoon?
Whose?
Twice to defend.
Two yellow cards within seconds for the same dissent offence.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's it, innit? I mean, you can see what's going on, innit? They've just entirely created a red card because Liverpool couldn't be United. But before we go on, I want to just a huge shout out to the fella in pink in the Newcastle game who Paddy knows who I mean, came from nowhere and totally wipes out that Newcastle player. I mean, that was just the most bizarre thing I've seen in a long time.
What for missed?
The Newcastle Fulham. Paddy knows what I'm on about. That high kick. He took him out, didn't he? Completely and utterly obliterated him.
He was like a karate kid.
Yeah, that's the one. Bloody hell. I thought I was slow. No, it was. You've got to see that. Now that was a red card. That was fair enough. But if it had been at Liverpool, if that had been at Liverpool, it wouldn't have been a red card, and it would have been he's got his body in the way, so it was his own fault.
Let's forget other teams anyway. Anne-Marie, Julie says it's like Pep is playing Walker in his team again, like he did last year. Use him and have others resting for the latter part of the season. Then he brought Walker back in for Real Madrid. Now, do you think it's a case of ideally Pep would do that if everybody was fit, and if everybody was fit and healthy and stuff like that, and we had a full strength team? I think you'd probably see less of what we're seeing from, because I feel sorry for Walker a little bit because he seems to be getting a lot of pelters. He's
deservedly so, though, Andy. Deservedly so, because you can this isn't a new thing with Walker. There was not, maybe it wasn't last season, maybe it was the season before. You could guarantee 9 times out of 10 he'd be the player that would be giving away the penalty because he'd be making a stupid tackle in the box. And I think Walker, as a captain, as one of the older players in our squad, should be setting an example. So, it's, as Paddy said, it's inexcusable to stop running.
No, it is, especially when you've got that pace.
Yeah.
But Simon's put here two key players lost in one summer, and the replacements need time. Simplistic, absolutely, and that's spot on, Simon. And that's what I think that's what Paddy was alluding to with with the likes of Kovacic and Nunes. I tell you what, Nunes is going to be very, very good for us. Trust me, but he needs time to settle in.
It's a chance.
Everybody goes on, and everybody goes on price tags. Forget the price tags. That price tags are between two clubs. Nothing to do with the player's ability. Yeah, it can give the player a bit of a complex because of the price tag and stuff like that. But
ignore the price tag and just look at what happened with Phillips. Phillips wasn't, even when he first joined us before his injury, he wasn't given a fair crack of the whip with us.
No. And maybe it could have all been different if he would.
Exactly. And that's why you need to look at the likes of Nunes, especially more so than Kovacic, because he's had game time, and kind of say, well, we don't want to make the same mistake again. And if we think Nunes is going to be as good as we think he's going to be, we have to give him a chance.
I think Simon's underestimated. We've not lost 2 key players at the moment. We've lost 4 if you include Stones and KDB, which is nearly half a team. You're going to suffer.
Do you know what's heartbreaking to read or listen to when you hear Gundogan single-handedly running that Barcelona? You think, geez.
To be honest, though, the league is not exactly the Premier League, is it, mate?
Yeah, but still, Jesus. We're definitely we're missing
when you've got Girona sitting top of it.
Okay. Would you get Gundogan single-handedly running our defence midfield week in, week out? No, it needs somebody there. So I think that just bit of perspective on there. Listen, he's a huge loss, Gundogan. I say it all the time. He's one of my all-time favourite City players. But he won't be able to run City's midfield single-handedly. He'd need the perfect scenario there. If he was still with us, he'd be there with Rodriguez because they complement each other, so much. But I agree. We've got to start bringing, in my humble opinion, giving Kovacic time. At the side of Rodri, giving Nunes time, because Nunes can play on the right side of midfield as well. So if he wants to play on the right side of midfield, that releases Bernardo to do his damage where we know he can do anywhere across the front, whether it's on the left, right, coming deep. It's just back to basics. Sometimes it's the best thing to do. Just go back to basics and start again.
Well, I think so. I'd agree, but I think and the team, like the back 4, I would like to see would be Walker, Diaz, Stones, and Aki, and then Mateo and Rodri in the middle. And then build the rest of the team around that. Like, you have to give the team a spine. I know it's an old saying, and it's probably a dinosaur saying, but you have to have a spine. Teams are coming through our midfield like a hot knife through butter.
Yep.
Get past Rodri, and you're on the top of the defenders. That's not good enough.
Do you know something else, Anne-Marie? Like everyone's saying, it will be different once KDB gets back. KDB is going to need time to get back and get it into full match swing. So I think we've lost KDB for pretty much three quarters season. Yeah, he might be back in January, but he won't be absolutely flying like we know he can in January. We've got a bit of patience.
I agree with you there, Andy. If he comes back in January, we're going to be looking at the beginning of February, middle of February, before he's steaming again, which could be a good thing.
Was he going to be psychologically ready to win the tackles and stuff like that? Knowing that.
I think this is why you give him an extra 4 to 6 weeks to get him up to speed, to get him psychologically adapted, to get him, to get him aware of where the ball is and what's going on. It's that could work well for us. Somebody put an interesting point there that they think we might win the league, but not the Champions League. I think it's the other way around. I think we've got a better chance of winning the Champions League than the league.
Listen, I still fancy us to win the league and the Champions League, mate.
Oh yeah,
I'm not saying that. I'm just looking at that. What Simon said there, that I still fancy us for the league, Champions League. Forget it. I'm only going on that. I still think we can win both. Don't worry about that. I just think looking at that 7 that we can play in the last 16. Oh God strike me down here, touch wood. There's absolutely nothing there, and I'm not finishing it. But you know what I mean.
No, I know.
I'm not superstitious, but I'm not going to finish that sentence. But you know what I'm getting at.
Marie, Michael's put, fans need to get off Jack's back. Did you think Jack looked more comfortable yesterday? Is enjoying it and he was more productive?
Yeah.
I do. I
don't think anybody was getting at Jack yesterday.
I think Michael's just saying generally, not yesterday.
But then you could say that. It's like you can say to me, get off Walker's back, don't be having a go at him. And, that's a valid point as well. But at the same time, Walker is the captain and should be leading by example.
You just got something against people who play on the wide right, haven't you?
No.
I tell you what, though, with the number of fans on Jack Grealish's back, I reckon that's why he's got calves the size he has, so he can carry it.
Anne-Marie, I know you love me.
I tell you, if Anne-Marie's not missed him, Walker definitely is.
100%.
Hey, there might be a Walker one coming out somewhere. No, I just think we do need a bit of perspective. As I say, I'm far from a happy clapper, but I look at things not what's directly in front of me. I'd like to think I'm the David Silva, what I can see 2-3 passes ahead, before they happen, where once everyone's fit, only Vimto, mate. Cheeky Vimto. It will be okay. This is the time the team needs us. Not when we're winning, not when we're winning trebles. This is when they need us. And I don't think things like booing helps. I don't know. I don't understand.
There's not a doubt in my mind that team is going to click, but they have to be given the opportunity to click. And you need the right personnel on that pitch. And look, Pep has a history of playing players out of position, or for whatever reason he done it. He did with Stones actually years ago. If you think about it, with your man Fernandinho, he played him at right back or the centre back instead of playing Stones.
He was there yesterday as well, Ferno. We could have done with him.
I know. So Pep has history in that, and then he didn't play Rotherham in the Champions League final. Another brain fart there. But I definitely think that team will click. There's no two ways about it. They're too good not to click, and they care too much. You could see that they were pissed off coming off the pitch yesterday. Graham being pissed off, but then Walker was the most pissed off. Well, if you're that pissed off, Kyle, run down the pitch. You're the quickest player on the pitch. Make a difference. Don't do it afterwards.
But speaking of putting it all into perspective, I think, yesterday, again, we've got that classic reminder that it is just a game. When we look at what happened to Tom Lockyer, he had a great game against us last week.
I thought he was a dirty bastard against us last week.
Yes, he was, but he played well, and he's probably one of Luton's best players.
I don't wish him any harm, by the way. I just want to put it out there. I thought he was a dirty bastard last week.
No, on behalf of everybody, we would like the dirty bastard to have a speedy recovery.
Stan, that's
what we're saying. Let's admit it.
At the same time, Stan, he's probably kicked his last football as a professional.
No, sorry, he collapsed last year.
Nobody.
Yeah, he did, and they did They did a procedure that was supposed to stop this happening again, but yesterday's was an actual cardiac arrest.
But where did he get the procedure in Turkey? Because he clearly didn't do it right.
No, they
I
did.
don't know.
He had the similar problem, didn't he? He had the similar problem at
In the playoff final.
And then he went through some procedure.
Listen, we wish him a speedy
Of
recovery.
course we do. Of course we do. And I hope I genuinely hope he hasn't played his last match as a professional. Nobody wants to say anything like that.
Here's one for you, what BB's saying. Our set pieces RMS, losing Mahrez and Gundogan with KDB out 2 weeks. We look clueless. I was saying this yesterday about our set piece, especially in particular our corners. Why do we do it when, for me, I do think our corners aren't the best. I'd love to see Rodri at the end of the 18-yard box waiting for a ball to ping in for him to leather one in.
Yeah.
We're just too predictable. It just comes too close to the keepers all the time. We need to mix it up a little bit because you know yourself, as soon as we get a corner, Alvarez and Foden are going to go over to the left or Bernardo's going to go there. They're going to do a little, then the ball's going to come in, then we're just going to lose the ball. And we accept that. Just let's try something different.
There's a fella getting paid a hell of a lot of money. He's called the set piece coach. And I'm sure he would be
doing a very good job.
And that's why I think his walker praise is do.
No, that's what we're saying. That's what we're saying, Julie. Is it because the player was gone wide? A few people say, maybe he was looking not to get a red there. I didn't personally, because the player quite rightly was going wide. I also thought Ederson could have left that as well and let it go because it looked to be spinning with pace. Downward Ederson come flying out.
Mike Dean on Sky said definite yellow, not a red.
Jesus.
Oh,
that's been the rule.
I was certain it was a yellow. That's put it in doubt now.
They should have even been a yellow then.
Oh.
And there's a lot of truth in that as well, Julie. From quite a lot of people I speak to. Phillips was English homegrown quota. I'm certain of it. Yeah, and listen, I just hope Calvin goes in January and gets his career back on track because he's a good lad. He's never done us any harm. So
we have to bring him in because we'd let Sterling go. So we had to bring in another English player.
I don't think you do. I don't think you have to. I just think you lose that slot on the rota. So if you have a maximum of 25 men or whatever, if you've not got a full quota of English, you could only have 23. Do you know what I mean? You can't bring anyone in to cover that. That's why they've got that quota. So you can do it, but I don't know. I just think he thought he'd had a chat with Bielsa. There were certain things he wanted to do, and by the time that Phillips was ready, he'd got injured and we'd moved on tactically from what he wanted Phillips to do in the first place. One of them things, not everything, works out for the best.
No, it doesn't. And I don't know if you's old enough to remember. Do you remember that? I think he went from Cambridge, that Joey Beecham.
Yeah.
Did he go to West? He only went. I think he went to West Ham. And he got homesick from Cambridge to West Ham, and he was back at back at Cambridge a few weeks later. After a decent transfer fee. So I'm a great believer in certain players. Find same with Jesus Navas
was the same. Jesus Navas was the same. It was absolutely extraordinary that he came to City. Yeah, he turned down call-ups for Spain because he missed home. Nobody ever thought he'd leave, but he did. And he didn't just stay in Spain, he come to Manchester. And before anyone said anything about him.
Ever.
He's what, sorry?
He had the most gorgeous blue eyes.
Well, I'll leave it.
Hang on a minute. If we turn around and said,
She's gorgeous blue eyes. I'd be worried about you.
Yeah, Bunny Shaw, she's got the most gorgeous legs. You'd be going, oh, you can't say that.
Well, why would you not say that?
Why would you not say that if that's what you think?
Don't know. Anyway, Daniel says, I just checked
You're telling us Christmas is banned next.
Shut up. I just checked the first Premier League game versus Burnley, where Walker and KDB were on the pitch. KDB is the club captain. He had the armband. Cheers, Daniel. Thanks for that, buddy.
Do you know what we should give a shout out to, Andy, is the kids in the Champions League game.
Yeah.
And you're talking about homegrown, that Hamilton fella. We should give a shout out to them. He meet the English squad. He's born and raised in Manchester, and he'll be in that team next season.
Listen, you can't say that after one performance, mate. All I'm saying is let them develop rather than put pressure on them. Because if you put pressure on them, how often do you worry about a player? Not just that say, oh, he's going to be the next Lionel Messi, he's going to be the next KDB. He's going. Let them be the first Rico Lewis, the first Mika Hamilton. Let them, and Pep's no fool. Look, he would not let Foden go out on loan. Foden is the only one, apart from Rico and that now, up until Rico and that getting in the team, Foden was the only one where Pep wouldn't let it go out on loan.
No, Pep says after the match, or the day after the match, that Hamilton's not a first-team player, but he will be next season. But I do follow EDS quite closely, and Hamilton is consistently good.
Now,
I'll tell you one thing I would love.
Our first team.
I would love it, and I hope this is what Pep's aiming for. It probably won't ever happen, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't matter. But 11 players on that pitch were all City fans as kids. That would be great. And then win the league. That'd be fantastic. That's something to aim for.
We could
leave
the FA
give a shout out to City women as well. A 4-1 win today.
Huge shout out.
Yeah, Bunny Shaw with another hat trick.
I tell you what, within about 3 minutes, were you ready to kill her and then praise her to the rooftops? If you know, you know.
Go on, Anne-Marie. I'll let you read that one out because I that was going to bring me one of my points about leadership on the pitch as well.
We need another Cancelo situation. I think some players are not happy about some player, and also players are not communicating on the field.
No,
I get that they're not communicating well on the field because we've seen that for ourselves when there's they're not shouting man on to each other and things like that. But I don't think there's any player causing problems in the background.
No.
I'm not saying these players causing trouble. What I'm saying is, it's quite clear to me. This considering look, go through the team. Edison's quiet, but you've got Diaz, Stones, Ake, even Akanji. You've got Rodri, Bernardo. You can put Foden there, Haaland. You could put them as sort of like KDB when it comes back in. You put them as leaders, but they're not. They don't seem to be doing it on the pitch. Gundogan was our leader manager on the pitch. That's quite clear because you've seen him in team talks and stuff like with the behind the scenes stuff and like that where he's got them. I think it's important. We need somebody to be like that.
I'll ask you a question here now, Pep. Andy. Who do you think Pep's?
Andy,
how can I switch myself off? Andy, at this moment in time, include KDB and Stones. What would your first 11 lineup be? But at that time, it is. No, not you, you daft sod. Me. That was an own goal. Me calling you Pep there. Good job I realised that back pass was going nowhere and recovered. You need the turkey teeth.
Cheers. Thanks, mate. You're full of compliments there, aren't you?
I am looking the way I am tonight. Dapper Stan.
Right. If I was going to pick a team now who was going out, everybody's fit, and they're going out to play Arsenal or Liverpool, I had the choice of every single player.
Think bigger. It's the European Cup final tomorrow.
It's not. No.
It's
okay. The Champions League final shows you how old you are. The Champions League final, I'd have Edison, On the left back, I'd have Ake. Then I would have Diaz. At the side of Diaz, I would have Stones. And then I would have Walker in that position. Midfield, in the centre, I'd have Rodri with either Kovacic or Nunes. On the left, undoubtedly, I'd have Jack. I'd put Foden on the right with the big Norwegian meat shield up front.
And how many times has that team played together?
That's why I said if everybody was fit,
No. I'm just saying. No, I said if everybody was
You're
fit.
still short a player, Andy.
You're not playing De Bruyne, huh?
You've not played De Bruyne.
He's not going to be fit for that game.
You got off your head.
But that just shows you, doesn't it? He was so last year, De Bruyne. But
that's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. The team that most of us would think is the first 11. Do you know what I mean? You can rotate a couple of players and all that. That team has never, ever come out. And I remember November of last year, we were talking about this. And this is why I've asked it. Now, we haven't played the best team. We hadn't played him. Because he's messing around. He's tinkering.
No, Pardo, no, mate. I think when he was
I thought you were shaking your head at me then, Andy, and then I read what you were on about. I thought, thank God for that.
When Conor Gallagher was at Palace, I thought he was a decent player. Since he's gone back to Chelsea, in my opinion, he looks an absolute horrible little bar steward.
He's lost, isn't he? He's lost in that team, Conor Gallagher. But the other thing and all is, so the strongest team that we think we've got hasn't played. It's just not played yet. I mean, the most obvious glaring error is KDB not being in there.
Spot on, Julie.
So, it's and that's a great point from Julie. Let them be themselves, not the next whatever. That is a good point. But the thing is, are you going to get your best results if you're not being able to play your best 11 every week? You're not, are you? And once that comes back, that's then when you start doing your 10, 15, 20 game, unbeaten, winning sequences.
We can't rely on that, mate. I've said it earlier. We can't rely on it.
I can. And it will come.
You're all right there, love?
Oh, yeah. Feel like I'm getting earache, though.
Off Stan?
Yeah.
It's all right. We can easily do that one.
It's right, though. It's right.
No, he's right. Stan is right, But the thing is, will we ever see that, Stan, because of the rotation? And what you always say, mate, and I swear what you say now, different keys for different locks.
And this is why you forgot KDB. Because we do have these little locks. And we do have these, we do have these keys that can open the locks.
And do you know I've got to defend myself. I've got to defend myself here, mate. You said in the Champions League final, didn't you? The reason why I didn't pick KDB, the past two, he's been injured in him, so I didn't want to risk him again.
That's a good recovery, that. You just booted that one off the line. Walker style, the overhead kick off the line there.
Is that good recovery, Amory? What?
There is no locks for keys when he goes on the 10 or 15 game run. It's the same players all the time.
And what happened but when did that come in last year? It was right at the business end of the season, wasn't it? Possibly the last 10 games of the season.
Yeah.
When he suddenly went, I've been messing around. I've been messing with my cards up till December.
Yeah.
And now I know what cards I want. I'm just tinkering around and getting the different keys for the different locks. And then when he went, right, that's it. Bang, I know what I want. 10 of them, 10 games on the bounce. Bang, 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 bang. Then there was 2 games just before when the league was run, before the cup final. He thought, right, I'll just give a couple. I can rest him. I'll do that. We drew one and lost one. Nobody was bothered. A couple of players got rested. A couple of players got minutes just in case somebody got injured in one of the finals. Bang, 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 bang. Done. That's it. And that'll happen again this year.
Well, I hope it happens after.
So we're off now to sunnier climes, Anne-Marie.
Yep.
I've been saying for a while. I've said it in our WhatsApp group as well. It's come at the right time, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think the warm weather training and everything will do the players good. I think the break from domestic competitions will do our fans good. Get things into perspective a little bit, and we can enjoy our Christmas and get ready for the next game, which I think is
Everton away
on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Do you think that Everton have got the City mentality after our charges? The way they've gone?
Yeah, very much
I
so.
think they've been playing very well. And if you look at the table and see where they'd be if they hadn't had the 10 points.
26 points. 26 points.
Yeah.
Stan,
But
this question for you, Stan, because Anne-Marie and Andy are in agreement with us. Like, where are you in this sun holiday that they're going on? Do you think it's coming at the right time, or do you think it's a bad time?
This John, I think it's at a good time because it'll give us a 5,000-mile break from that refereeing association that we might as well call Pog Mahone, the way they're going, Pogmo, or whatever they call themselves. We'll get away from that. We'll get away from the press. Well, not so much the press, but
no, you're right. You're right. The media in general,
the whinging and moaning.
Yeah.
Mind you, if any of them have got any scruples, they won't be going, will they? Because they'll be boycotting it because it's Saudi.
Yeah.
So we won't. We'll have to watch the matches.
See what you did there, mate.
So we'll have to watch the matches because these principal journalists of ours won't be there. And like you say, it'll just give them a break. They'll probably nip over to the United Arab Emirates, chill out, sort themselves out, have a word with the big fella, come in, batteries charged,
get
away
some
we go.
transfer funds for January.
And listen, by all accounts, we've got about 100 plus million to spend in January. So it's got to be for the right players, though, not for the sake of spending it. But they're better qualified on their scouting system than we are.
Yeah.
I will say one thing about us being away as well is while all these teams over the festive period who tear assing all over and playing so many games in few days and stuff like that, we're away from that in a more relaxed.
But it's not even, we're looking at it and it's not even like a massive break. We're only missing one league game.
No, but the thing is, though, this is the last thing that I wanted to say about why it's come at a good time, because it's given us an opportunity. I know it's maligned in England, but you go to the rest of the world, that World Club Championship, they're right up for it. You go to South America, they're up for it. You go to Spain, they include it on major honours. Germans, the Europeans, they include it. So if we come back with something that I think off the top of my head from the British Isles, only United and Liverpool have won, it's another thing to nail us into this legacy top teams. Do you remember? You can't win that. You're not a good team till you win the league back to back.
Yep.
Right. Then you're not a good team till you win the league back to back and the FA Cup. And then you're not a good team unless you've won the league, the FA Cup, and then you're not. Well, now we'll have done the lot in a year. Now, very, 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 very few teams have done that in the entire history of English football. If we can nail that down, bang, we're treble domestic champions, we're European champions. God willing, we'll be world champions. Nah, we've done it. We've conquered football, then we do it again.
We can actually sing with confidence, City, the best team in the land and all the world.
Yeah, can you imagine that being true?
Don't we get that little gold shield thing on our shirt as well if we win it?
I'm not sure. I'm not bothered about the baubles or anything like that. That's a great shout from Pardo. I forgot Chelsea won it. None of that really matters. The fact is it's written in there and it's in the book.
Yeah.
And there's nothing they can do about it. And it's not even being investigated. Bonus.
So, in short, we've dusted Palace off. That's out of the system. Now what we can do about that? let's get a bit of sun on our backs. Come back world champions, and then we go again with. We'll go about it differently. But Everton away, which will be a tough match, but hopefully a few suntans and stuff like that. Anything else but from anybody before we skedaddle?
Yeah, a couple of things, Andy. Just first of all, wish everybody who's watching a very Merry Christmas, because obviously we won't be seeing you next week.
Oh, no.
Oh,
No. And also to say that, you know, Christmas isn't an easy time for everybody. And I know that I speak for all of us that if anybody needs a chat over Christmas, just needs to vent at somebody, I know that we're always willing to listen, and it'll be obviously kept in strict confidence. Well, I definitely will listen. But, you know, you don't have to suffer on your own.
No, I think that, and to be fair, you know, we always do put that in the group as well, Anne-Marie, don't we?
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, you know, anybody who's members of the group and stuff like that, you know, you can. And to be fair, it's always it'll always be a confidence thing, you know, confidential thing. I've had a couple of people who've contacted me for various things, and hopefully that's been a little bit of help to them. They know who they are, and that goes for everybody. Don't suffer in silence. There's enough of us, like Anne-Marie says. If you want to just vent at us. If there's something you need and we can help you with, by all means, we will do that. But Christmas isn't always a good time of the year for people. Yeah. And Anne-Marie is absolutely spot on, as usual.
Same from me there. I know I take the piss and look at things at the at random angles and what have you, but we're all blues. We've all got opinions. None of us know what's going on because Pep's on another planet. And let's just get through all this. It's tough times. It's a tough time of year at a tough time. So don't forget, you're not on your own. We're blues. We're all in this together.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So listen, yeah. So I forgot it's Christmas Eve next week. It is next year as well. Yeah. So hope everybody has a good festive time. If not, you know where to catch us, and we will be there for you. If not, have a very, very Merry Christmas and best wishes to. Yeah, be strong, everyone. Best wishes to absolutely every one of you and your friends and family.
Big Christmas kisses to you all.
Yeah.
I won't go that far, Anne-Marie. Cheers, guys. We'll do it again very, very soon. Bye-bye.